Yo, so okay, have you guys ever been to this place in old school RuneScape? It's right here in the middle of Kandarin. It's something called the Fishing Guild. Apparently you can fish these things called sharks, and they're better than monkfish. That's a joke. If you don't watch my Hardcore Iron Man series, I've had monkfish as my main source of food for pretty much all of my account's existence, and I'm just now able to cook sharks. Your guys' comments hurt, you know. Alright, I'm kidding, but in all seriousness, the topic we're going to go over today, and it has to do with me being late on things, because this happened a while ago. As you can see, this was pulled a little bit more than a month ago, back in early December. And I'm just now getting to it because, you know, life, and I'm just a garbage person in general. Can't keep up with, you know, my main game on the channel, but that's okay. We're getting to it now. So remember, most of this has been pulled and passed, but a lot of people I know don't really read the news posts that Jagex puts out there, so a lot of players miss out on some of this content. So I wanted to kind of go over it really quickly because it is interesting. It was talked about earlier in the year, but we're going to talk about the fishing skill boss Tempoross, or Tempoross, not David Schwimmer. Swimming? Fishing? Tempoross? Friends in Old School RuneScape Connection. I just did it.
On a break!
So for the unfamiliar, Tempoross is going to be an activity similar to Wintertodt, except the fishing variant. So it's going to be a quote-unquote boss, but it's going to be more so of a skilling boss. It's going to be available to all members who are at least level 35 fishing, so relatively low skill. It's going to be a social fishing skill encounter that offers an alternative to the current offhand leveling method. So it's going to be not the meta. This is not going to be the best fishing experience in the game. This is just going to be an alternative, similar to like Mahogany Homes was for construction. Just another way to break up the monotony, basically. It's going to be scalable, and it's going to support huge groups, basically like similar to Wintertodt. Wintertodt group sizes can get huge. Higher level experienced players aren't going to feel hindered by lower level players. So I'm wondering if the rewards and experience you receive therefore are going to stack more so to your level, similar to Wintertodt. That would make sense to me. Now, it's also going to be you know, viable for lower levels, and it's apparently going to be completely safe. So level 3s, Hardcore Ironman. By the way, Hardcore Ironman will not have to worry about risk, which is that's good, I guess. You know, Wintertodt is viable early level, but you can die. So clearly there's going to be some sort of balance shift here that's going to have to make up for this being a purely safe minigame, and I think that's going to be what reflects kind of more so in the reward section. Man, fishing sharks sucks. It's so slow. But anyway, so this is going to be, there's going to be a risk of failing the encounter similar to like fishing Trawler. There's going to be like an activity meter. If you're not pulling your weight, you're going to get kicked, or similar to, say, pest control. You have to be doing something. Existing fishing methods have a lot of downtime, so Tempoross should be a faster experience paced, similar to Wintertodt. Of course, it's going to be making that comparison a lot throughout this video. Like I said earlier, it's not the current meta. It's not a replacement. It's just going to be, or I'm sorry, it's not a replacement to the current meta. It is just a replacement for current fishing methods to break up said monotony. It's not going to give the best XP or fishing rates because they don't want people to stop fishing around the world, because it adds character and life. Jagex is very adamant about that. They've made that statement many times. I made the same comparison earlier in my power creep video. They don't want players running around in the same armor set, because it's like, what's the point of this expansive game world if we all look the same? So here's a breakdown of the experience you can expect to make at 35 fishing, which is the entry level you need to start the minigame. You're going to expect around anywhere from 30k XP per hour, 70 fishing, 70k, 99, 80. So you see the difference starting to get a little less substantial there, but the experience rates are obviously approximations. There's no set in stone thing because this is not out yet. Obviously, this just recently passed the poll that it came from. So the location, this is kind of interesting because I think they based where they were going to place Tempoross off of the Trailblazer League, because if you remember during the Trailblazer League, one of the areas that was not picked, it was not viable, and everyone kind of had the consensus that it was just dead content, was the desert. So Jagex saw that and said, say less, brother. We're going to put the next content piece in the desert. So it looks like it's going to be right off of the pyramid from Desert Treasures right here. It's going to just be a little bit down to the left, kind of by Minifos. Maybe we're going to eventually potentially unlock that town and settlement. That'd be interesting. It's cool in RuneScape 3, so maybe it can be cool in old school RuneScape. So it's going to be right down here, and hold on, I gotta sneeze. Oh, excuse me, I just promise you, you did not want to hear that. Anyway, so I'm not going to get into the mechanics of the fight too much because it's a lot of technical jargon that's kind of like, it's all up to debate right now, but an overview of the fight is you're going to be placed between these two boats. Tempoross is going to be on one side, so it looks like we're going to be on this boat to the right or the left, and then they're going to be in the middle there, or the Tempoross, rather, is going to be in the middle there. So this is what it's going to look like. So yeah, here he is spawning in the middle, which is actually a pretty cool little whip. I kind of like that image. He's going to have three important, so he's going to have different phases, it looks like. He's going to have an energy phase, which behaves like regenerating armor and is reduced in his first phase. He's going to have a spirit bar, which is going to behave like health and is reduced in his second phase. And then the intensity of the storm. So basically, if you don't kill him fast enough and his phase 1 failure timer goes off, then this storm intensity you have to reduce before you can go back to damaging him. So if you don't get him in the first cycle, it's going to kind of refill, and you'll have to take a whole nother cycle to take him down. So it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a gathering mechanic. Like I said, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but it looks like you're going to be gathering harpoon fish, some type of new fish, and you can either cook it, similar to Wintertodt, when you like chop the tree from the Kindle, you can either fletch it to make it more experience but less points. It looks like you'll be able to cook these harpoon fish for extra points but less XP rates. So if you're going for rewards versus, actual fishing XP, it's going to be up to you. Now if you have a dragon or crystal harpoon, you're going to have better catch rates, which is interesting. I do like that because in Wintertodt, no matter what axe past, like I think a steel axe it doesn't make a difference. But here, if you have better tools, you're going to actually have a better chance to even have a chance to cook the fish. So I do like that they're kind of implementing the gear is going to have a better effect. So I do like that they went that extra mile. Nice. The main thing I want to point out here, and I think it is interesting, is that they keep iterating how this is not a dangerous minigame. Even his attacks don't actually damage you per se, they're just annoying. So players have to remain wary of Tempoross' attacks because they shake up the core loop, keeping players space dynamic and forcing players to stay mobile. So basically, you have to keep dodging things. Like he will throw this wave at you, and you have to tether yourself down to masts or totem poles so you don't get swept back a few tiles. And are, I guess, annoyed? I don't really know. And there's a lightning attack that will also cause a hazard. If it hits the tile you're on, like if it's hitting this cannon, it will block off pathways. You have to get a bucket of water to put it out so you can essentially get back to blasting him with a cannon. There's also a torrent attack which will target your cannons, and it doesn't break them, just makes loading them impossible. So you just have to stand around. It says they're expanding this mechanic, and I can I can see why. Now then, the juicy stuff, the rewards. I like this a lot right here. At the end of each encounter, there will be these crates, so they'll always have some sort of resources, but you could also get more, of course. If you leave without looting the debris, or if you wish to save your reward chance, you can open it all essentially in one go. So you know how people would make, myself included, would make videos where you'd be opening hundreds of Wintertodt crates. After every game you get one crate, you can open it up. It takes hundreds of bank spaces, but it's a cool little video idea. This boss is going to allow you to store them all in one crate, and you can open them up all at a time to a maximum of 8,000 reward chances in one pool. Could you imagine? I guarantee you there's going to be videos of that, by the way. I'm going to try to make one where it's not going to be 8,000, but I'm going to, when this boss first releases, I'm going to try to stack up a few or as many as I can, maybe 100, I don't know, because I like that idea. It's always more satisfying to open more things at once, I think, than to open them one at a time, because I feel like it doesn't affect the RNG at all, but it makes it feel like it does. So alongside that, you get spirit bait. This is going to be the main thing you get. This is going to be the most common quote-unquote new reward. They're spirit flakes that are fish food infused with the energy of Tempoross himself. They're untradeable and they are consumed while fishing, so you have to have them in your inventory, and it provides a 50% chance to catch an extra fish. No extra XP, so it's similar to like Rada's Blessing, and I think it even says it does stack with that. It does. The effect stacks with Rada's Blessing. So, excuse me. It's basically just a way to catch more fish. Like if you're catching a slow fish like I am, say like sharks, just gives you that extra chance to catch them a little bit faster, which is nice. So next up we have the fish barrel, which can store a total of 28 raw fish. We see this item variant a lot. There was one similar in construction that stores like the planks. There's one in rune crafting that stores the rune essence. It's becoming a very common, trope in Jagex's items. So it's going to store multiple raw fish, and it can only be removed from the barrel at a bank, similar to a looting bag. And it is possible to combine it with the fish sack, which is something from the angler on Mulk Island, which I guess is also equipable, and you can combine them both, and you can wear this like crate, or this barrel rather, on your back, so you can carry around an extra 28 fish, I guess, for immediate cooking if you're like off in an adventure in the mountains, I suppose. Next up we have the tackle box, which provides additional storage for fishing equipment. So basically it frees up your bank space so you can throw in all those rods and feathers and bait and the angler outfit. So like I said, it saves bank space, improves organization, and like the seed box, whatever it's called, you can store 2 million pieces of fishing equipment without the exception of the infernal crystal harpoons. Only one of those each. This is going to be fairly rare, it says. And then there are some Ultimate Iron Man concerns. I'm not going to get too into this because I'm not one, so I don't know how that would affect the game. Apparently, it would affect the meta somehow. So they're polling this specifically for Ultimate Iron players if it should be added to the game for them or not. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. Now for a reward that I'm not too keen about, the Spirit Angler's outfit. I just don't like how this thing looks, man. And I know a lot of players are with me on that. I just don't like the way the colors look. I like the original colors of the Angler outfit a lot better. The green just kind of, I don't know, it just fits the style of the outfit better. This, to me, I get what they're going for. Obviously, they're, going for like the pirate aesthetic here, but the color, something about it, I just don't like. So, with your spirit bait, you get a large amount of that, and the full angler's outfit, you can dye it to look like this. There's no extra bonuses. It still gives you the same fishing boost as the regular. It's just a recolor. However, if you go against Tempoross with this outfit, it has an extra ability. It allows you to function as a rope when tethering to masts and totem poles. I'm assuming this little mesh thing on his pocket here. So if you're... I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time Jagex has done this where an outfit you earn from the minigame actually gives you a benefit strictly to that minigame. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I like that idea. So that's kind of cool. I don't really like the colors, but anyway. The trophy, it's just another... player-owned house trophy. I like the idea of storing all of these things in your player-owned house. I like the idea of the houses. My construction is just, on my account, it's only 64 because I'm an Iron Man. So a lot of these player-owned house updates and like things are just not really important to me right now, I guess. But I do like it. I like the idea of having like a home base like we do, where we can store all of our loot. So or trophy reward. Awesome. And then finally, the big one is the Tome of Water, the obvious variant to the Tome of Fire from Wintertodt. It's going to require level 50 magic to equip, and is going to be the new offhand magic, similar to the Tome of Fire, like I just said, but for water spells. So, since water spells are far more weak compared to fire alternatives, the goal of this item is less about raw damage and more about utility. So, your curse spells, your binding spells, things like that. It's going to give you unlimited water runes, but what the hell does that mean? Because what do we use water runes for? Curse and binding. And curse. And entangle. And, okay, ancient magics. But entangle? And what would a new boss be without a new boss pet? So they were talking about a heron pet recolor, but since the heron doesn't drop from Tempoross, you can still only get the heron from regular fishing activities, they thought they would release a new pet. Players were asking for a transmog of the heron pet as a potential reward, but Tempoross does not have a chance of providing players with that pet, like I just said. So they're talking about Tiny Temper, which is an interesting name, but I'm excited to see how that'll look. I like I do like the design of the boss, Tempoross. He is interesting. I think it would be kind of cool to have a little cyclone guy following you around. They're talking about the dragon harpoon. Since worms were introduced, They took it off of the because I forget that the Dragon Harpoon was originally a Chambers of Xeric reward. Then they changed it to drop from the worms. So if you're only a skilling account, not like me, okay, maybe kind of like me, Dragon Harpoons are kind of impossible to get. I've had a couple of worm tasks, but I've never had any luck. So similar to how the Dragon Axe is a very, very rare reward from Wintertodt, they are going to make the Dragon Harpoon a very rare reward from Tempoross. So that's kind of cool because I like the idea, the glimmer of hope, you know, to potentially get the Dragon Harpoon. And then they end up with a Tempoross challenge mode because, as they've reiterated multiple times, this is going to be a very easy boss. There's going to be very low danger, basically. There's not really going to be any chance of dying. You're just going to have to basically contribute. So they're asking about a potential challenge mode, a harder version of Tempoross aimed at higher level players. They can see the appeal, but it got them thinking, because if they did this, what about any other boss? Yeah, they have challenge raids, or, you know, and stuff like that, but not any other, like, just like Wintertodt. There's no hard mode Wintertodt. So they're wondering if they just make a challenge mode for all bosses. Interesting. But that's pretty much all of the information we have on Tempoross as of right now. What do you guys think? I'm excited about the new boss. Wintertodt, as much as I hate the freaking content, I don't like the minigame as much per se, but I do like how fast it is, and I like the rewards, like opening the crates. So I think that's going to be an interesting. This boss in particular is kind of drawing my attention just because I like the mechanics of it and the fact that it is safe, so I don't have to worry about dying. There were also a couple of, we'll finish up here, there were a couple of fishing trawler quality of life updates that they were talked about, which I'm pretty sure all passed because, like myself, fishing trawler is probably my least favorite minigame or piece of content in this game ever. Very closely tied to this Magic Training Arena. That needs some major overhauls as well. But there's going to be some things switched around with Fishing Trawler now. The timer is going to be removed and instead added an activity meter, which will replace with a contribution meter. So similar to Pest Control and everything else going on. Now you're going to actually have to be trying. The amount of experience players receive is going to be increased. There's going to be better, activities. There's going to be a Kraken tentacle that's going to come and attack players now and keep you on your toes, so you're actually not just standing there on a boat for 10 minutes. Currently, fishing trawler minigame is rather tedious and there's not much variety in what you can do. It's like they watched my video. I'm gonna cry. There are many unknown dangers in the ocean. While some here we go. Tentacles. Hentai fans rejoice. On occasion, the upper level of the fishing trawler will have Kraken tentacles spawn near the net and attack it. Players will have to use an axe to chop the tentacles away and leave a hole open to the perfect opportunity for eager tentacles to return. That's a tough sentence to say, and on that note, on that flub, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. 2 videos in a row, 2 days in a row. Who am I? I'm a new person. Thanks for watching. Let's get to 300 subscribers so I can, have my ego back. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Tomorrow? Can we go 3 days in a row? Probably not. Bye!